Hi there, kids and families. It's me, Miss Britta. I wanted to tell you a couple of things about how to write stories. A lot of you have been doing picture stories for a couple of months now, and it's time for us to be extremely big kids and great pre-readers and make sure that we're putting at least 4 elements in each of our stories. So families, you have this at home, and you can use this as a prompt to help your children to verbally, for language practice, tell a story. And then for literacy, put the story they actually say on paper. And I'll show you how that happens. But right now, looking at this says, what happened? Who was there? Where did it happen? And how did they feel? Those elements later on will turn into big kid concepts and words like setting, character, plot. But for right now, when you tell a story, you want to make sure you give lots of information so that people remember your story and know exactly what you're trying to tell them. So what's the story you're going to tell today? Now, these stories are all about narrative, so that means me. So I'm going to tell a story that happened to me. And it might have other people in it too. So I was reading this book and it reminded me of a real story that happened. So this is the book Snow Dance. And I used to read this with my children back in the olden days. And I have 3 children, Riley, Addie, and Camden. And one day Riley and Addie had gone to play in the snow and they had read this book. And so they brought a little miniature snowman inside, just like the pictures in the book showed them to do. I thought that was a really great idea, and I remember it forever. It's a story, and it's my story I like to tell. So since I was reminded of that, I'm going to use that as my story of the day. So I'm using a whiteboard, but you'll usually do this on paper or in the yellow notebooks that you have at home. And we have 2 sections. We have a section for our picture story, and we have a section for writing. Writing is where words go. If you're not ready to write words, somebody can write your words for you when you're done. So I'm going to look again at this card, and I'm going to say, okay, let me think about my story. Something happened. There were people there. It happened in a place, and I had a feeling when that was happening. And then I'm going to tell my story first so that I can practice language. Let me see. I was a young mom, and I was inside my house, and I felt really, really surprised because my daughters, Riley and Addie, who had been outside playing in the snow, started to knock on the door. Knock, 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 knock. And I was like, they know how to open the door. I wonder why they're knocking instead of just coming inside. So Camden was a baby at the time, and I scooped him up into my arms, and I looked out the window, and I could see that Riley and Addie were covered in snow. And in Riley's hands, there was a little miniature snowman. I was still so surprised. So I opened up the door, and Riley and Addie said, "Here is a snowman for Camden since he's not big enough to play outside." That made me feel really warm and loving. I did ask them to leave the snowman on the porch. So at the end, we had a snowman on the porch that Camden could look out the window with me at. So that's my story. It's something that really happened. I can't draw all of that in here, so I'm going to use a picture to represent part of the story. It's always going to have me in it, so I'll start with me. Here's my head. Here's my body. Nice little circle rectangle there. And I was looking out the window, and I felt so surprised because Riley and Addie were out there, and they had a snowman in their hands. When they came inside, they said, "This is a snowman for our baby brother Camden. Here's my snowman, 3 little circles for a ball." I don't think it really had a hat, but this is a picture, so it will remind me of it. And I remember that they were smiling and they had their snow hats on. So here's me. Here's Riley. And Addie is smaller than Riley, so I can make her look a little shorter. She was here and she was smiling too, I'm sure. And I remember when I told my story that I was saying that I had baby Camden in my arms. So I'll put him here with his little arms and legs. He was such a cute baby. And that's Addie. So now I can read my story again because I have pictures to represent it. And you can take turns telling each other's stories as a family. That's a great fun thing to do. So my story is that Riley and Addie were outside playing in the snow. And all of a sudden I heard a knock, knock, knock at the door. And I was super surprised because my kids know how to open doors. I looked out the window with baby Cam in my arms and I saw that Riley and Addie were playing in the snow. Oh, I better make snow here to show the place. And we're by the window. And they had a little tiny snowman for Camden. So I think now my next step is I'm going to think about what's one thing I can say that almost tells this whole story. A big sentence. And I'm surprised, so I think I'll use the word wow. Wow! Riley and Addie made a little snowman. That's kind of the whole idea here. Wow, Riley and Addie made a little snowman. Now, if you're getting ready for kindergarten because you've been 5 for a long time, you might even want to try to make some of these letters and write some of the names that are part of your story. For right now, I'm just going to remember each word. Wow, Riley and Addie made a little snowman. That's my story for the day. It has something that happened. Riley and Addie making the snowman and me seeing them do it. It has characters, people that are in it, my family. It shows that I'm somewhere, that there is a setting for this story. There's outside in the snow and out by the window. And it shows how I feel. I was feeling super surprised. So when you make a story, you can use your card at home and tell us, your teachers, if you can't find it, because we have lots of extra ones. Now I'll remember this story. I wonder what your story will be for today. Bye.